Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Yalik, and these new tribes, not all that new actually now, we've had them for several days. 4, 5, I don't know, I don't care, it's late, whatever. Anyway, these new tribes are fair and balanced, which is another way of saying they kind of suck if you're an offensive player. Oh great, we're maxed. Well, anyway. They're kind of mediocre if you're looking for the offense. We've had a ton of offensively weighted tribes over the past, I don't even know, 4 or 5 months. A few of the tribe cycles have been kind of balanced, and most of them are way out of whack towards the offensive side most of the time. These are actually, So, you have the Headquarters Health Tribe, which, if you know me, you know I love my warriors, and that's making my life a whole lot harder. The warriors, basically, if I'm not boosted, I'm not using warriors right now. I can do resource bases and stuff like that, but on an HQ, an actual base headquarters, yeah, the damage is not there. And then you have all defensive building damage boost, which I think goes up to 50 or 60% or something like that, which is for real. Meanwhile, on the offensive side, Power Stone Chance is wonderful. I would take that every single tribe cycle. That tribe could just stay at Power Stone Chance, and I would be happy all of the time. But, you know, it's not helping me to counteract those two tribes. Artillery damage 50%, we've had that before, is cool, but not game-changing. Grenadier damage, I think this goes up to 50% also, and that's spectacular if you use Grens a lot. I don't. And medic speed over here. Medic speed, and that's all I've got to say about that. No, actually not. I do use RCZM a lot, and so I guess medic speed is helpful in that sense, but again, not a big game-breaking sort of tweak to the meta. And these two things over here are very powerful. So these tribes are weighted more toward the defense, and that's fine because we get plenty of offensive tribal cycles. So the first day that we had these tribes, I went out, I did like, I think maybe 2 warrior attacks, saw that things were not working, unboosted, you know, this was just a basic map clear in the morning, saw that things were not working, and had to sit back and think. Now, with all defensive building damage, it's not, my RCZM and HRCZM strategies are not doing well, or are not going to do well, and it's pretty obvious why, because every single building that shoots at you, every time it shoots at you, is doing more damage. So the longer you spend out there getting shot at, the worse it gets for you. And with the headquarters health, like I said, warriors are kind of out of the game for a while. We've had lots and lots of opportunities to use warrior lately, so I don't feel bad about that, but still, if you don't happen to be boosting, then they're not very effective right at the moment. Also, shields are back and so on. So you need another strategy right now. And I don't really use the Grens, and I don't use tanks. And so that didn't leave me with a whole lot of options, I guess. But what I did realize is that, well, you know who really doesn't care about a little bit of extra headquarters health? Zukas. And you know when all defensive building damage doesn't really matter anymore? When you have Zukas, because your attack ideally should be over in between 5 and 12 seconds, honestly speaking, whether it's Huga or Zuga or whatever. So I had decided that this tribe cycle was going to be, for my strategy to combat this was going to involve a lot of heavy Zuka. So what I've got for you is a couple of hits that I've done tonight, kind of symbolic of the stuff that I have been doing. I do a lot of heavy Zuka on my lower accounts, not usually so much on this main account. I go to other strategies. But I have been doing a lot of heavy Zuka hits, traditional heavy Zuka with brick, and then I've been doing a lot with bullet. And here are 2 bullet hits. So, actually, I have heavy Zuka with bullet loaded up right at the moment. It's just that's where I've been lately, because it's the thing that is working. This one is partially boosted, I want to say. Wait. No. Actually, no. The second one is boosted. The first one is not at all. This guy also had no ice, though, so that's, as you can see, he's got 10 offensive statues lit over there. So, yeah, so I didn't have to boost for this one. This one, actually, the thought with the Bullet Heavy Zuka was that, honestly, it just saved me the trouble of having to flare this, because he still has a Sky Shield out. And that's a pain in the ass. It really is. That's the one thing I can say for a Sky Shield, is you go ahead, you put it next to your HQ, and you make it really, really hard for people to flare the building. So that then you end up wasting a couple of attacks just, you know, trying to get the timing on that flare is a little tricky anyway, so trying to get the timing and placement perfect. I mean, if you're just plain great, that might not be an issue for you, but for the rest of us schmucks, it kind of is. So I didn't want to mess with it, to be honest, so I just went with this Bullet Heavy Zuka, and the idea here is to let Bullet occupy everything at the back of this base and just clear. And try to keep Bullet from getting chain shocked by that, or, well, actually, he's got his shock launchers way out of the picture. I don't know why they're so low on this base, but really the main problem is that shock blaster. I don't want it to get Bullet, and other than that, just trying to clear down to the HQ so as not to have to flare it. And this worked beautifully, actually. Bullet is a tank, obviously, and yeah, there you go. Whole bunch of Zukas left, and burn right through the shield. Just clear everything behind the HQ, burn through the shield, and then burn through the HQ as well. And that's the kind of thing that has been working for me. Again, there no ice, so an easier base, but still. So then this guy had a couple of attacks, boosted, like I said, not as pretty as I would have liked. This one wasn't perfect either. Like, there was some peeking on the walk. I waited too long to flare when I had my sort of midway parking spot. Waited too long to flare my troop spread. It got messy, but still a win's a win. And then this guy took a couple of attempts. Same kind of thought process. Gonna get back to his mines are not great either. Way too front-loaded, kind of central. He does have a boom mine back here, and he does have one mine on the walk here. I don't really need to deal with any of them. Just get behind the HQ to about this spot-ish next to the rocket launcher, and flare down to the shield. The shield will obviously be destroyed. Reflare to the HQ, let Bullet take fire from all of the things around, and just keep things on the side shocked. Pretty simple approach. Here we actually can flare the HQ and will, but speed that up a little bit. But pretty similar to what you just saw. Straight on, no angle, you know, just so midway flare. Wanted the troops to gather up just a tiny bit more. Didn't want them stretching out over half the base. And now we can slow that back down, not to half speed though, and then flare down. And in this case, actually, that shield is not in a great spot because, well, this is why. I mean, it's just too easy to flare the shield and then go back straight to the HQ. A second round of shocks. I've used 4 total there. And my heavies are gone. I've got a ton of Zukas left, and there's Bullet. Look at the pose he's got going on there. The victory pose right there. Perfect. So, ton of Zukas left, and you just burn through shields this way, or in this case, just, you know, knock them down. But it kind of wouldn't have mattered because that's a lot of Zukas, and they did have a partial boost going on. And we had Bullet, and we had Critters, and we had a good bit of GBE here to work with. And it's not a GBE intensive hit. Didn't waste any smokes on the beach or anything. One barrage down here to clear some of the mines. just arranged my flaring so that the heavies would get out front, heavies and bullet would get out front and take out the other two mines on the path. There was, like I said, the one boom mine behind this cannon. There was one regular mine up here at the corner of the HQ. Just keep the heavies moving and they go ahead and get those. So just the 10 GBE up front to barrage down here. And yeah, all the rest of the GBE that I have in hand, which is like 150-ish, goes for a handful of smokes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 6 smokes I would guess I used, which is not expensive at all. And then just occupying the defenses so that my troops can do their work. So, lot of heavy Zuka over the last few days for me, and that will probably continue. We do have the Rainmakers back. I don't know how much I'll use them on this account. I have to go check in on my lower account because I'm going to go smash my map. The lowest level account where I don't have endless reserves, and so map clearing on that account happens very infrequently. And I'm going to go crush my map and get some kind of an upgrade because I can do that with Rainmakers. It's fairly easy to do that. Don't use them as much here. Might get them for the novelty's sake at the end of the trader cycle, like just before she leaves. I don't know about that, but in the meantime, just sticking with more conventional tactics, this has been the flavor of the 2 weeks for me, and I think it's a pretty solid approach given what these tribes are offering us. So yeah, I mean, if you feel differently, let me know, leave a comment, but that would be my recommendation this tribe cycle. If you're an offensive player, go with the Heavy Zuka because it's really your best chance to beat people. So that's all I've got, and it's late, and I'm probably headed to bed, but, you know, thumbs up, blah, 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 all that stuff, and I'll catch you next time.